There's something about keeping the law that didn't satisfy. There's something about keeping the law that didn't give you a peace. There was something in you that's still longing to know that I know, and I don't. And that really describes some of you that are here today. You're like that rich young ruler. You're like Saul in that moment. Some of us have become so blinded by our own self-righteousness, and an attitude of self-righteousness is so entrenched in us that we cannot see ourselves as sinners. And I'm not really a sinner. I'm not perfect, but I'm not a sinner. And yet God's law says there's a standard, and it's perfection. And you've blown it. And there's nothing you can do about it. And we stand helpless and hopeless apart from him. But what we cannot do ourselves, God did for us in the person of Jesus. He came and was born of a virgin. That's absolutely essential. It's not just one of those little fun things we believe. It is absolutely essential to the gospel. Because if Jesus had an earthly father and an earthly mother, he would have been in the same boat we are. He would have been a sinner separated from God. But he was born different. Of a woman, but God was his father. So he was without sin. He didn't inherit a sinful nature, and he lived a sinless life. And the wages of sin is death. The reason you're going to die one day is because we are sinners. To the core, we are sinners, and we're going to die because the wages of sin is death. Jesus would have never died. He would have lived forever. He even said on one occasion, "No man takes my life from me. I lay it down of my own accord." When he was on the cross, he said, "It is finished." And the Bible said, and he breathed out his last. He embraced death on your behalf to pay the penalty for your sin. So that when you stand before God and he says, "You've got to be perfect to get into heaven," and we say, "I'm not," then why should I let you in? Well, you shouldn't. But I put my faith and trust in Jesus, who met the standard. And God says, "Oh, if you accepted my son as your Savior, then I'm going to declare his death your death. You died when he died. The penalty for your sin has been paid. And when he was raised, you raised with new life." And today, though we all stand before God's law condemned and guilty, the law's good because it shows us we're guilty. And that opens the door for us to say, "Lord, save me."